So, we've heard in Matthew's Gospel teaching us the attitudes and the behavior of the Christian. We heard earlier about anger and how we're to deal with anger. We heard about lust yesterday and how we're to deal with our sexual emotions. Today, the Lord is teaching us about our tongue, how we're to use it. And we've got a great saint whose use of the tongue was legendary, is legendary, St. Anthony of Padua. St. Anthony, who was born in Portugal, so he's not originally from Padua, but he died in Padua in the year 1231, I think it was, at a very young age of 36. Anthony originally became a monk, but then when the Franciscans moved in nearby, when he was in Portugal, he felt the call to join them. And after joining them, he eventually found his way in Italy, where his preaching started to become renowned. His preaching and his teaching. He became a great friend and confidant of St. Francis of Assisi. And the miracles that were worked through him were astounding. In fact, just to help you with the miracles, if you have a look later on, after Mass, please, at the description, I'll put a little link in for you so that you can see some of the miracles, the descriptions of some of the miracles of St. Anthony. But he was renowned, not only for, as you know, he's a great saint of lost and found articles, but for his preaching and his teaching. St. Anthony preached the truth of the gospel, and he preached it with power. He preached it with simplicity, so that he was able to explain some of the complex teachings of the church in a way that anybody, the old or the young, could understand, the educated and the uneducated. So his use of his tongue was legendary. Jesus is demanding of us that we use our tongue for truth. And so he speaks about swearing oaths, and we're not to swear on heaven, on Jerusalem, and all these things. If you mean yes, say yes. If you mean no, say no. What is Jesus actually saying? As Christians, we're followers of Jesus. And Jesus said, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. And so you and I are followers of the truth. And if you and I are the followers, disciples of the truth, that means that truth should mark our lives. We should be people who tell the truth, people of integrity, so that when we say something, we actually mean it. It does require humility, however, because when we tell the truth, maybe we have to admit to something that we should have done but didn't. Or maybe that we should not have done, but we did. And so being honest about things has to be central to our lives. Honesty, of course, should never be used as a club. Some people like to say things that are really hurtful and say, well, I'm just being honest. We're supposed to be charitable above all else. We're not to lie. We're to tell the truth, but always with charity. We're to not only tell the truth, but teach the truth by our lives and by our actions. And that means we also have to learn it. We have to discover it. We have to investigate the truth through Scripture, through the teachings of the Church. This is what St. Anthony was famous for. This is what enabled him to preach Jesus, who is the truth. So the truth has got to be fundamental in our lives. Our tongue has to be a tongue that tells the truth, that speaks the truth, that speaks of Jesus. We had St. Anthony here, believe it or not. He came to Aberdeen a couple of years ago. We had his relics, or his relic to be precise. And what's amazing about his relic, he after he died, by the way, he was canonized, I think, in the shortest period of time for any saint, and had the most miracles occur between his canonization, his death and his canonization. A huge amount of miracles. Can't remember how many exactly, but a massive amount. But you know what was his relic is? It's only one part of his body. His body wasn't incorrupt. His body did decay, except for one piece. And that was his tongue. His tongue spoke of Jesus. His tongue spoke the truth. And we're to imitate St. Anthony and ask for his prayers that we might speak the truth, speak of Jesus.